as we head over to our Seattle Storm, who wrapped up their preseason.
Wrapped up the preseason undefeated. The Storm beat the Phoenix Mercury with a win of 82-78, and our player of the game is Evina Westbrook, who had 15 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds. But more importantly, she had that game-sealing layup and block to win the game for the Storm. So great to see Evina really just stepping into the role. Yeah, I know you had your concerns about who might step up here. What do you think?
It's going to be tough because, we're going to get to it here with the roster being cut down. But there's a lot of talent on this roster. And again, it's why the league needs to expand. I know they talked about it, I think, during 2020 in the bubble. They said, if 2021 is a success, then we'll talk about expansion. 2021 was a success. And it could have been more. Yeah, it could have been more of a success if the league properly took advantage of their consumers. And I mean that there were a lot of fans last year, right, that wanted to buy Chicago Sky's finals MVP, Kalia Copper, wanted to buy her jersey. They couldn't do that unless they did the custom option, I think, in terms of buying the stuff like this, stuff like that. There's better marketing that could have been done, is what I'm saying.
Marketing, merchandising,
correct.
Everything.
Yeah. So, there's so many talented women that are going to get cut from these rosters in the next few days leading up to the beginning of the regular season that could be playing on another team easily.
Yeah.
And so, it is frustrating. You look at this Mercury game, right? Former point guard Kiana Williams, who we drafted last year out of Stanford, who I interviewed, I think she had like 25 points in this game. For Phoenix.
Yeah.
For Phoenix, and I think she started the game off 0 for 5. So she just kept going, So it's tough. It's really tough. I think Westbrook, last week I liked seeing Breanna Perez, the point guard, I think out of NC State and the Wolfpack there, had some nice play off the bench. And I think she did in this game as well. But Westbrook, another person that UConn lineage, right, at the guard spot, maybe looking to, follow into someone's footsteps, right? Fighting for that roster spot.
Yeah.
So it makes a difficult case. And someone commented on this video on last week's Storm video about how they didn't like how the Storm played a bunch of their veterans
in the preseason.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I get both sides of it, right? But I get it. Right, because you want to see what these younger players have and what they can bring to the table, as opposed to giving Stewie however many minutes,
sure,
right, or JewellLoyd however many minutes. And I get that, but I think there is a certain. I think what I see it as is you want to see your starters get maybe the first quarter, right? Say give them the first quarter because you want to be able to shake some rust off and get into game shape, because practice can only simulate a game so much,
right?
And then I say give the rest of the 3 quarters to your other players and try to see who's really going to be able to help me. But because of how crucial this year is, and because of the new faces like a Gabby Williams, you haven't even seen Gabby Williams, I don't think, beyond January, getting Jontel Lavender in there, who's a veteran. You want to see how these players mesh. So I don't know. I think it's a sticky situation. It's an issue. And I also think that expansion plays into that because, you're worried about the roster being made. Ideally, we wouldn't have to worry about that if the league was bigger and these players could get better options, Yeah. So it's a tough situation to deal with, I think.
Yeah. Going back to your comment on our video with the preseason games, just like you said, it's hard to simulate in-game play in practice. So of course they only have 2 preseason games, and why not get them out, try to test that team chemistry and see who's really going to mesh well. Moving on to, as you said, some of the waves here that have happened. On April 26th, the team waived forward Lauren Manis. On the 29th, ESPN ranked 3 Storm players in the top 25 players in the WNBA. At number 1 was Breanna Stewart. At number 6 was JewellLoyd, and at number 16 was Stewart. So that's great to see them so high on the list. I love it. On April 30th, the team waived forward Jenna Giacone and guard Paisley Harding. On May 2nd, the team signs forward Rashonda Gray to a training camp contract. So just a couple roster moves that have.
I want to look at Rashonda Gray there.
Yeah.
Because, we talk about the roster getting cut down, and this is where I'm a little bit confused. Okay. See what I'm coming from here. You waive Giacone. Harding, I get because the guard situation is going to be tough already. Sue Bird, Beyond January, JewellLoyd. I mean, just those three alone, let alone
Yeah.
anybody else. Westbrook now making her case, right? So it was going to be tough for Harding, I feel like already. We look at Manis. Manis being cut, I understand, because you got now Gabby Williams, Breanna Stewart, Stephanie Talbot, Kennedy Burke, I think, is in the mix somewhere. But then Rashonda Gray. This is a player that, I think, and she's not played for the same team in back-to-back years ever in her career. So she's kind of made it her way around the league. And she hasn't started a game, like been in the starting lineup, you know what I mean? On the starting five since 2019 on a team. So the good point was brought up to me. Why is this move being made, and how much does it tell you about where Seattle sits with their big situation in terms of Mercedes Russell being injured, Ezzy Magbagor's development, Alyssa Cunane, the draft pick and number 17 overall. So I'm just curious about that, and I'm wondering, because I've read reports that say, hey, give Rashonda Gray a chance, something. But I'm wondering if this is more telling about the Storm's current, how they feel about the players on that roster right now at that position group, or is this training camp? Because you're already cutting down right now. You have to cut that roster down. So I'm interested to see. You see all these players going out, but then there's the one player coming back in, and so I'm kind of confused about.
Would you have signed somebody else?
I don't think there's that many options out there, so probably not. I'm really interested to see what they've gotten out of Cunane so far, because I know a lot of people said that she was a steal at number 17. So I was, with that, I'm thinking, hey, she's a surefire spot to get some time before Russell comes back. But I don't know if this is telling it all about Gray being signed, or is this just, hey, we want to see what you've got a little bit before I wonder if this is the equivalent of kicking the tires before the season, seeing, you're a free agent. We're going to, see what's going on, see how you're doing, see if maybe we've got a spot for you this year.
I would see it that way, considering that it's just a training camp contract. Yeah,
because I think if it was like a more of an actual contract, then maybe, so I get that.
Moving forward here, as we look ahead, the team sits at 2-0, and their season home opener is this Friday on May 6th against the Minnesota Lynx. That's a 7 p.m. start time. You can catch Charles there, and they will be away on May 8th at the Las Vegas Aces, which is also a 7 p.m. game.